What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts that's we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm.
EVO is like we just said, it is July 19th to July 21st. So, Quato, do you know offhand what are the games that's already at EVO? I got the list, so I'm going to see if you know them already.
I don't know offhand. All I know is I actually got a friend that's attending EVO this year. Shout out to him.
So he's playing it. What game? Okay, let me stop. Let me read the list of what's going down with EVO first. So they got Street Fighter 6, Guilty Gear Strive, Tekken 8, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, Under Night in Birth, King of Fighters 15.
This is going to sound disrespectful. How King of Fighters always making it?
The same way Under Night in Birth still be making it on there. They released the number of people who signed up, the registration leaderboard. Street Fighters once again at the top with 5,265. Number 2 is Tekken with 4,646. Guilty Gear Strive is at 2,058. Grand Blue Fantasy versus 1,377. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike 1,100. Under Night in Birth 2 is at 785. But here's the shocker. Here's the big shocker. Because King of Fighters 15 is at 375. But Mortal Kombat 1 is at 645 signed up.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I guess people I guess it's a fighting game. I feel like that's the respect Mortal Kombat gets. They be like, I guess it's a fighter. Because that's what it feel like.
You know, here's my thing. Because I think Mortal Kombat 1 has been getting a lot of hate. Some deservingly so, and some unnecessary in my personal opinion. And NetherRealm and WB have to do something to help attract this game and to promote this game, especially when it comes to these kind of tournaments. So there, because I've watched the Mortal Kombat 1 tournament, I have seen Final Combat, I've seen Combo Breaker, and after I seen this news, I went to go online to see what some of the pro players were thinking. Then what some of the casual people on YouTube were saying, and then what some of the the people who feel as though they're above everybody else because what they think or what they know is going on is right and everybody else is kind of like stupid. Those kind of people. So I was listening to what the pro players were saying, and it was like this. I was like, well, the game is not appealing to casuals because the casuals don't like cameos. And it's like, okay, yes, I can kind of get that. No, I can't, because then there's a lot of casuals in the comments that talk about stuff. We like the cameos, and I can understand that it could be a turnoff to a lot of people. When it comes to casual players, I'm talking about, not necessarily pro players and stuff like that, who's like in it about this game, and also, I do feel as though that the game, I don't want to say unbalanced, but I do want to say that when I was watching Final Combat, the top 8, it was all Peacemaker and Johnny Cage. There was no variety of characters at all, because at that they were S tier, they were broken as shit. They had to nerf them down some, and even still, the characters that are in need of buffs, they be getting these little ass buffs, and they don't really be giving it like a good buff to help balance the game out. So none of the pros are going to use them, which then again turns off a lot of the people from that. And the thing is, Mortal Kombat sells wonderfully. Mortal Kombat always outsells Street Fighter and Tekken. So now with this thing going on, and they're banned in Asia. Mortal Kombat can't be played in Asia like Street Fighter and Tekken can. So they have that backing, and Mortal Kombat still be outselling them. But there has to be something that's going on with another realm. And for you who does not have Mortal Kombat 1, I don't know if you have Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6 also, but for those, I know that you will pick Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat. What is it about this year's game that could be like a turnoff? Because I would have to put you in the casual category.
I have no problem with being considered in the casual category. That's fine. I've always kind of felt this way, and it's really hard to define in my mind, but I'll say it just as it comes. I feel like you play Mortal Kombat for fun, you play Street Fighter for glory. For me, Street Fighter comes off as more of a technical game when you're actually going hit for hit, back for back, counter for counter, parry for parry. And let's be honest, Mortal Kombat has all that stuff. But I feel like I'm playing Mortal Kombat more to see the fatalities. I'm not playing Street Fighter to do the specials. If I'm playing Street Fighter for real to play as a player, I'm actually probably using my EX moves, and I'm more combo based. So I feel like for these type of things I'm explaining, I feel like when I'm playing Street Fighter, that's more technical. That's more of you actually know what you're doing. Whereas I feel like when I'm playing Mortal Kombat, it is more casual. It's more fun. And so look at that move. That was funny. And that's how I feel there.
So what about the new Mortal Kombat?
Truth be told, I haven't put a lot of time into Mortal Kombat 1. So I can't answer that but so fair and balancedly from what I know from the past Mortal Kombats. I've played it a little bit. I've played with you, but I didn't put enough time in it to change my opinion on it as of right now.
It has to be something because of once again, a lot of these pro players did make some good points about what they would do to help beef up the game and to help get the casual on board. Because once again, the casuals is the one that helps sell the game. I mean, the diehards, the pros and stuff like that, they're automatically going to buy the game. They're going to get the season pass. They're going to get all that kind of stuff. That's a given. You ain't got to try to win the fans. You got to try to win the casual fans back over. But what happened at the tournament, the not promoting it very well, and for those characters, once again, because honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you, I was getting bored watching Final Kombat because it was all Johnny Cage and Chameleon teams, and then it'll go against Peacemaker and Chameleon or Peacemaker and Kano teams. That was it. In the top 8, there was no variety of anything, which did, and as much as I watched these tournaments, it did take me out of it. And I was like, man, Johnny and Peacemaker being this damn OP, a Reptile player, which that will not happen because Reptile's moves suck in the. I mean, he don't do a lot of damage in the game, so they won't use him. And if you're gonna try to win a competition against $200,000, then you're not going to use no low tier character. You're going to use some high tier characters in a high tier team to win the stuff. But I do think it takes a lot of the casuals out of it, especially when that happens. And Street Fighter, Tekken don't have that problem right now. And that's it. And once again, I understand. I'm listening.
Well, that sounds very true to something that you know. That's something that you know about me. I come from a card base. I played Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon. I played all that stuff heavy. I played it professionally for a while. So the fact it comes that if you want to win, you play the meta. You play the meta game. You have to play the best thing to win. You may want to have fun, and then that's where you become what some people would joke as a filthy casual or something like that. But if you playing in tournaments, you got to play the stuff that win. Unfortunately, if it's in a game with certain characters are clearly classed over other people, you're going to see that same run of the middle thing, and that's going to make it boring. I guess in this scenario, that's a problem with Mortal Kombat. When I guess the other fighters aren't having that. I guess you could play another character and make them good and make them competitive. Yes, certain characters is always going to tier better than other characters. That's how tier list works. But if you have a more variable tier list, people are going to flock to playing that more because there's going to be more variety, and that's going to be more interesting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is. I do feel bad for Mortal Kombat 1. Like, I'm really enjoying Mortal Kombat 1. I actually am a fan of the cameo system instead of getting the full tag team. I know a lot of people don't like 2v2, but then people do like team fighting games. It all depends what kind of fighter games that you like. I love, obviously, we just talked a lot about Marvel vs. Capcom, so I love fighting games, obviously. But also, I like my one-on-one fighting games as well, and I think the cameos, it gives me almost like the best of both worlds once you figure out how the system works. But I can understand that doing that kind of work, it turns some people off before they even try. And I also, when there's an unbalance of characters, when there's a problem with how much the skins cost, when there's not, and like when each game is from Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat 1. Each have their own single player mode, and honestly, when it comes to the best single player mode, Street Fighter 6 got the best one. And their world tour is the best one out of all of them, in my personal opinion. With Mortal Kombat 1, it's more like it reminds me of the one from Smash Brothers Ultimate, was the World of Light mode. We had to go around and you just start.
Oh,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes, when you confirm to that,
I got so tired.
Yeah, it is so repetitive, and you can be done it in 5 hours, opposed to wait a whole month to finish it. Like the new season 6 for Reptile, I finished it on both the Switch and the PS5, and now I'm sitting here waiting for the next season to come out, which is not until July 23rd. Until the new one comes out, and you really have to go from section to section. It's really not that much freedom, and it's repetitive. You play different people in the game, well, not online, but different combatants in the game. You win different things. You get different skins, and you find there's a boss fight, and then you move on to the next mesa, as it calls it. It's the World of Light mode from Smash Brothers Ultimate. That's how it is. You go different things to go unlock. I mean, you don't have to unlock no characters there, but you unlock skins. I can see that's a turnoff for people. That's a turnoff for me. When it comes to the single player mode, I felt as though people was hoping for like another Conquest, or even when we had the Crypt in Mortal Kombat 11, they was looking for something like that, and I think that they just missed the mark on this one. It's not turning out how everybody wanted to turn out, so it turns people off to the game, and I can understand that. Whereas Street Fighter, Tekken right now don't, at least when it comes to the single player mode. Now I ain't talking about arcade. We're talking single player mode. They don't necessarily have that problem, and it just attracts more people, especially from all over the world, than Mortal Kombat does. So I mean, it sucks to see them, but Mortal Kombat is always known to bounce back on certain things, and I hope to see them bounce back heavy. Because like I said, I'm really enjoying the game. Is it my favorite Mortal Kombat game of all time? No, it's not. It's not the best Mortal Kombat game of all time. But right now, I'm liking the cameo system, which, in other words, I'm going to miss it when it's gone, because I know it's not going to be in the next game. After all the problems people have been having with it, it's not going to be in the next game. But I know that right now I'm enjoying for what it is, and I'm enjoying like this is the closest I'm going to get to a team-based fighting game, Mortal Kombat.